Hello my fellow hammerheads and welcome to the first lore part of the Lumineth Realm-Lords. In this video we will talk about the Age of Myth. But before we start, I recommend that you pick up this battle tome for yourself, because only then we can support Games Workshop and you can enjoy the lore with every little detail for yourself. The Age of Myth. The beginning of our story is not really fact, because through telling and retelling throughout the centuries, everything got a little mashed up and became more legend and fable than reality and truth. As we know by now, the Elven pantheon trapped Slaanesh and took the souls of the Elven race back. In Xintil, the heart of Hysh, Tyrion awakened. He discovered that he has become a god of light and brilliance, the Lord of Illumination. Alone, he wandered to the edge of Hysh, killing eldritch beasts who mistook him for prey. All the while, he was hearing Teclis' voice in his head. As he reached the realm's edge and stared into the bright incandescent light, he uncovered many revelations about the nature of mind, body and spirit as he stared at the raw light of Hysh. He stared so long that his eyes melted in his skull. But this was the moment in which the realm's edge itself took great interest in Tyrion. The elemental spirit came forward, and together they found a common cause. Tyrion once again awoke at the heart of Hysh. But now Teclis was lying next to him, still like in the world that was. Teclis was weak of limb, but Tyrion's godly powers were not divided or lessened. It became mirrored and magnified by his twin brother. In addition, as a small bonus, he could see through his brother's eyes. The twin gods were truly reborn. As they wandered Hysh high and low, they discovered that they were alone. No elf was alive. Then came the God King Sigmar. He told them of the few elves living in Azerheim and of Slaanesh. But the words of the barbarian god meant nothing to them. So they searched for other elves even in the realm of the dead, Shyish. What they found was something unusual. Monks. The monks told them of a being originating from the realm of shadows, Ulgu. It was a telling of Malarian. But they were not able to travel to Ulgu, just as Malarian was not able to enter Hysh. So they met in Shyish, and a gentleman's agreement was made. Together they found the penumbral subrealm Ulgish, a realm between Ulgu and Hysh. With their loose alliance, they succeeded in capturing Slaanesh and rescued the souls of their elven kin one by one. The first of the souls became the Idoneth, which translates to extreme seclusion. Their offspring was born with swiftly withering souls, and in his grief Teclis nearly destroyed them all if it wasn't for Tyrion who held his hand. So the Idoneth fled to the deepest and darkest places and began a new life. The appearance of the other elven souls ranged from the monstrous to angelic, and the Lumineth. Oh yeah, and Morati was there too, but she isn't a goddess, but she helped? And I want to stop there just for a second. I really hope that this is a small teaser for Malarian's battle tome. And I really hope that they are called the Noctineth. But I digress. Moving on. Year after year, they could reincarnate their lost brethren. No longer were the attempts hollow souls or plagued by twisted anatomies. Together they created one culture for 9 great nations across Hysh, one in every paradise, except the one near the realm's edge with its mind-searing landscape. But in their ambition to create the elves of old, they turned a blind eye to the shadow within the souls of their kin. The Lumineth conquered everything, from spirit to writing beautiful tomes, cartography, biology, botany, history and more. Peacefully they tamed, and if not possible ignored, the beasts indigenous to Hysh, or sent the most dangerous of them away through the realm gates to other realms. Now they're other people problems. They built citadels, palaces and spires, and every single one of them became more ambitious and taller every year. Many of the Lumineth participated in friendly rivalry, pushing them to greater feats. This formed the Teclamentary, or the Teclian ladder. Each rung of this ladder was a stage to master over mind and soul. Not everybody survived it with their sanity intact, but to reach the higher rungs meant to become so enlightened that they seemed almost ethereal and started glowing with inner wisdom. But not even Teclis himself has reached the top. This ladder was an integral part of their society. The higher up you could get, the more power over others you had. During this time, Teclis was the first to magically transmute the Hyshian energy into a solid state, and when cut and prepared correctly, this stable form of Hyshian light became ether quartz, infinitely reflecting and refracting the energies of the realm within its crystalline mass. The only way the ether quartz would grow dim is to touch it and absorb its powers. A way to become more enlightened in mind, body and spirit while sacrificing your emotions to the stone. Such is the balance in Hysh. When one energy diminishes, it must be replaced with another, like all things should be, perfectly balanced. So they made everything out of it, jewelry for sword hilts, piercings, or they held it under their tongue to siphon its energies better. The spent stones, full of raw emotions, were disposed in the chasm city known as Cathartia. Made from the purest ether quartz, Teclis formed the enormous Tower of Priors, using it to lessen the effects of Nagash's necroquake inside of Hysh. The Okari Dara, or the Spirefall in English, was the great tragedy of the Lumineth, which ended the Age of Myth and made it possible to the servants of Slaanesh to breach reality and invade Hysh. Supercharged by ether quartz, the Lumineth would not admit their addiction to the stones and their toxic effect on their psyche. Friendly rivalries became fiercer or led to sabotage. They forsake sleep as it was seen as a waste of time, maybe even snoring like a base human or like a Duardin. But the Teclian ladder was everything to them, and they wanted to reach the top, even though it was lethal to them. With everything else, they had to be better than everybody else. Their robes had to be whiter, their spells had to be better. Every fraction counted. They even got so far that they devised spells so destructive they could unravel the fabric of reality itself. And so they had to swear to each other that they would never use this. But there was a voice in their heads, and it grew louder and louder until it became words of the Dark Prince. During this time, the twin gods were absent, treating with the rest of the pantheon of order. So the blood started flowing amongst their own. Rumors of demonology circulated, not only for gossip, but to blacken the names of their rivals as well. Trust was broken, paranoia settled in. In a few short weeks, there was an outbreak of violence. Spells were woven, first to harm, then to banish, then to kill. It escalated quickly to the most powerful spells, and the magical cataclysm that followed became known as the Spire Fall. Palaces were blasted apart, entire districts were flattened, cities vanished, and the rivers were filled with the dead. Reality itself was ripped apart, and the realm of chaos was on the other side of that wound. Through that wound, Slaanesh Daemons came through, dancing and laughing amongst the carnage and preying on the elves still reeling from the doom they had inflicted upon themselves. The few places in which sanity prevailed, the elves fought back. The realm itself cried out. The paradise broken and perverted into a hellscape infested with demons. The age of chaos introduced suffering to the realm of Hysh for centuries, and the vengeance of Slaanesh writ large. Ooh, I love the telling of the Age of Myth so much. Of course, there's far more to speak about the Age of Myth. I just compressed it into this tiny bit, because I still want you to read everything for yourself. But there is one thing I want to talk about, and this is with this piece of artwork, which was also shown on the Warhammer community page. We see the Twin Realms, and on the top left we have Selena, the True Moon, of which we know is the companion of Teclis. On the bottom right we have Leoth, Ethereal Moon. Is this a hint to Malarian's companion? I really hope so. Also, this breathtakingly piece of artwork about the Spire Fall, it just blows my mind. The palace burning in the background, the carnage in front, and is it just me, or does these two surviving elves look a bit like dark elves, or dare I say it again, Noctineth? But only time will tell. So, what do you think about the Age of Myth? Do you like it as much as I do? I'm keen to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. I hope you will join us in future videos, because in the next one we will talk about the Age of Chaos. Thank you again for watching, and please stay fantastic. Bye bye.